Hi, I'm Peter Bruun. I'm coming from the digital agency Display, based in Copenhagen and Aarhus. We're an agency of over 200 different clients, and many of them are actually doing mobile projects at the moment. I'm here to talk about mobile, why it's important to think about mobile in your communication and marketing strategies, and how you can get started. It's time to wake up. Digital communication has changed a lot over the last couple of years. Mobile has come in and has been a central part and a normal part for many people's lives, and therefore you need to think about mobile all the time in your communication. It's not just for the geeks now, or the nerds like me who have actually the mobile phone at our heart at all times. It's for the masses as well, for everybody. So thinking about mobile is no longer thinking about a business opportunity you can seek, but actually thinking about doing the bare minimum. And why is that? Well, it's because the smartphone has become a central part of our everyday lives. People think about using the smartphones and thinking about how to interact with it all the time. When you're at a restaurant and your buddy you're having dinner with is going to the toilet, you pick out your smartphone and you look at it. That's what you do with it. And you look at it more than 150 times a day. And even more in many cases. It's not just a matter of snack time. It's a matter of doing something and looking at your smartphone all the time. Many of our day-to-day chores and tasks have actually been mobilized to some extent. We have the calendars, the to-do list, the shopping list. All of them have been turned into apps without us even thinking about it. One of them is also the alarm clock, and many of us is looking at the smartphone the first thing in the morning. 40% of Danes are doing so. I'm for one of those, and once I've snoozed a couple of times and then turn off the alarm clock, then I actually start to interact with the smartphone, and I do it before I even get out of the bed. Just checking my mail, checking to see if the weather's okay, because I won't look out the window, I'll look at my smartphone first, and check my smartphone for Facebook updates as well. And that heavy use of smartphones, it gives us opportunities to communicate in a way you have not been doing before. We're using an average of 84 minutes a day on smartphone applications. And many of us use more than 8 applications during a day. So native application does take up a lot of time of our time on smartphones. And many of those time, minutes and hours on smartphones are done while we're doing different stuff. For instance, out shopping. 44%, this is a Google number, says that you use the smartphone while shopping, for window shopping or for checking out to see whether the deal's better somewhere else or whether there is competitors to this shop that can do a better deal for me. And that heavy use of smartphone while shopping is actually a threat to many, but also an opportunity. We call it disruptive showrooming, which is going to the window shop with your smartphone and actually go buy online or buy with your smartphone. The question is, how can you create a mobile experience in the shops? And those who can actually do that will be the winners. Google has done some analysis for us, and 73% of shoppers having the smartphones with them will actually rather ask the smartphone for advice while shopping than go to ask the clerk. That's quite interesting. Talking about Google, then of course you'll talk about how search is doing on mobile. And mobile search has been on the rise extremely for the last couple of years, 500%. And it's because it's really faster to do search on the smartphones. You're in the mood for finding something about a certain area or something. Which player became the player of the year in the Premier League last year, such, and who did what. You pick up your smartphone, you search. You won't go to your laptop. And what is also interesting is that conversions happens faster than on normal desktops. 55% of all conversions actually happens within the hour. So if you get a high rate on the Google search on a smartphone, your users are very likely to interact with you really fast. And as I said before, it's not just about snack time or being between two stops. The bus stops is also while you're doing something at home or at work. These researchers show that only 17% of all Google search on smartphones are actually done on the go. So we no longer talk about having a mobile context where you're going between places or you're doing something specific. Mobile context actually all the time. It's why you're doing it at home, where you have all the time in the world, and it's maybe also while you're waiting in the line for the toilet somewhere. Mobile browsing is also going through the roof, and mobile browsing is your normal desktop, your normal website, how people interacted on mobile devices. Both Google and also Morgan Stanley Research Institute in America has predicted that mobile browsing will surpass desktop browsing this year or maybe last year. In many cases, that's already the case for some sites. For instance, the Danish site rejseplanen.dk has already last year in April surpassed the desktop from mobile devices. But the average right now in Denmark is about 25%, but the growth is there, so you need to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. It's not because it just looks good and all that, it's actually because it's critical for your business to have something, have a good experience for the mobile devices. And Comscore is an American an analyst institute who's done some different researches both in Europe and USA. These figures are from American market, but I'm pretty sure they can be transferred into Danish markets. The trend is definitely there. The trend is that doing mobile is really, really important for your business. It's important because people actually expect it to be good. And if not, they jump out to competitors, they go somewhere else, or they won't come back. The idea of it is that if you really can't do mobile good, then you can't do anything good for me. So 85%, this research says, of users expect mobile experience to be better or at least as good as the desktop. 61% will not return if the website gave them a bad experience, and 40% would go to the competitor. And what's really important is that 63% will be less likely to buy through other channels. So the lesson is, do it right the first time. Make sure that your site is mobile optimized in a really good way and give the users a good experience. Otherwise, you've lost them for good. Talking about mobile experience, we also talk about how the site performs, and speed matters. And speed being here, how fast is your site performing, how is the load times and all that. I'm coming from a digital agency. I know that these figures here from Google research also is really unrealistic, because performance of the site, load times and all that, it's being influenced by things we really cannot do something about. Which means, how's the phone signal right now? Which phone are you using? How's that CPU on that phone? And how many tracking scripts, how large images and all that has the client actually put in through their CMS. But anywho, it gives an idea of what people are expecting. And they expect it to load really fast, as they said. They expect to load in less than 3 seconds. And they won't attempt to use your site that many times as you really want them to do, despite they maybe can see that there's something wrong with the phone signal right now and all that. And all that leads to an idea of thinking mobile first. And mobile first is the mantra we work on right now. So mobile behavior, mobile adaptation, and mobile visits should be something, one of the first things you think about while doing communication on digital platforms. And why is that? That's because mobile will, in many cases, be the primary platform your clients and your customers will visit you on in the near future. But also because thinking mobile first gives you the possibility of actually focusing on what's important. And focusing on what's important is because we have such little real estate on the small screen. And that forces us to focus on what's really important. And that prioritization project actually also gives us good value on other channels. So you might want to panic, but please don't. Please don't panic, because I have many of my clients come to me, hey, my board members or my boss cannot see our logo in App Store. Please make an app for us. Please make an app that just explains the first and the best news from our corporate website, because at least that's something. But my advice is, please do not panic this way. Please do not make these apps based on stressful decisions or based on what your board members think. don't make these so-and-ding apps, as we call it, these panic apps, because you need to make apps or make applications or smartphone website-based optimized websites that really do matter something for your clients. If we don't think mobile first, we have a tendency to create these remote islands and satellites. And these satellites are not connected to our overall communication strategies. We create inside-out communication, and that's not good because no one really understands what that's all about. And that's based on pressure from our board members or our bosses rather than thought-through ideas. We lose track of our overall perspective, why we're actually doing this, what's good about it. And we also have a tendency to not really know what we're doing on the long terms. So doing mobile should no longer be a test project for your trainees, not be a sandbox project that, hey, Peter, run with it, because I think in the near future we'll have something good about it. It should be a central part of what you're thinking, how you interact with your users. You need to think about how mobile affects your way to go to market. How are the strategies when you think mobile? And why is that? That's because mobile actually gives you possibilities of thinking in a new way, thinking a new way that might give us new clients, and those new clients are already there on mobile devices. Nike is a good example of that. Nike has in many years been doing commercials in a traditional way about the products, the shoes, and the trainers and all that. But in recent years, they started developing digital services rather than products. And that gave them a really good edge in the mobile and in the digital world right now. People are still buying the products, but they are also buying the digital services. Danske Bank is also really good in Denmark when it comes to thinking services, a digital service, and also mobile services right now, rather than communicating in a different or normal way. So you can learn from them. Where to start in all this? Well, in many cases, your organization or your company has already, to some extent, maybe had a few ideas on what to do in mobile. In order to kind of collaborate on all that and get a good idea of what's going on, my advice is to appoint a mobile champion in an organization. One person that actually could drive all these projects and has the ability to do that well. Gather all the internal knowledge and ideas, because you need to have a strong base of ideas and people who are interested in helping you going forward. Then create scenarios, make some hypotheses and some personas so you can think about what do you think and what do you expect your user actually, how are they interacting with you. Do some analysis on your users and their expectations, and focus on touch points, user journeys. Because if you think about touch points and think user journeys, in many cases you're the first project that you've thought of going forward in initial will be replaced by something that actually adds value. And this is not a year-long study. This is only something you can do rather quickly. And then based on that, you identify mobile projects. You have a long list of mobile projects, and those projects you need to start prioritizing. Then you have a good idea of where to start. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. So takeaways from today, if you can't remember anything else, then remember this. Make sure that your website is mobile optimized, and make sure it is now. Please don't panic. Don't make these irrational apps that really no one will download. Do something about your strategies and do it with a mobile perspective. Make mobile a part of your overall communication strategies or even the center part. And remember that mobile is not about all-consuming high-end solution that can do everything for you at one time. It's all about small, agile, individual projects that together combine and gives a whole solution. And then, of course, think mobile first, because it makes you focus on what's important for users. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed the insights, and I wish you the best of luck with your own mobile projects going forward. Thank you.